What harm do ethnic frauds do Indian studies? Well, there's a loss of credibility that goes with dealing in bullshit, whether it's bullshit about one's education, military record, work history, or ethnicity. We had an alleged Chiricahua Apache at IUPUI, and I don't know if he's Chiricahua Apache or not, but the way he lost his job was he went around representing that he had a Silver Star, which is the second highest award from the Congressional Medal of Honor. And that's not something you can fake. The number of individuals who've won it, it's a very short list. And he got caught and got outed. And there were a bunch of folks who had questions about his Apache identity, but that wasn't what got him. It was his bullshit about his military record. Because bullshitters generally have no regard for truth, there's little way to avoid dissemination of bogus cultural information along with all other kinds of bogosity, if that's a word. All Indians are not alike, but outing these bullshitters is a tribal enterprise and not an Indian enterprise. And it has to be that way. I wrote a column for Indian Country just a few weeks ago about Ray Periati, who is a fake Comanche. But I didn't out him. The Comanche Nation did. And it was when the Comanche Nation outed him that I felt free to say something. Until then, I wouldn't. As far as that goes, even with Ward Churchill, when he was running around waving that associate membership card from the United Kituwa Band, I knew that wasn't an enrollment card, okay? But as long as they were willing to endorse him in some way, I didn't feel comfortable coming down on him as being a fake Cherokee. That little Eichmann stuff really did him in among the Kituwas, and they are, to a person, as far as I can tell, really down on him. And they actually made a public official statement that that card was meaningless. And so now I feel licensed to say whatever I want to say about his alleged ethnicity. Now, when tribes, when you have a fake Indian from a fake tribe, that's a whole different deal. That's that slideshow that I was presenting earlier. Some of these fake tribes have managed to get federal and state monies. And when you have a zero-sum game, where you have something that is meant for Indians, and somebody who's not Indian gets it, obviously that's a harm. When you have individual Indians getting admitted on the basis of being Indian, or in Michigan, getting their tuition waived on the basis of being Indian, and you get people who are not Indian getting that, it makes the program appear to be a lot more expensive than it in fact is. And that hurts you politically, because okay, I don't know anything about Michigan politics, but I'm just betting that the cost of everything is on the board every time the legislature meets. And how much it costs is a big deal. Individual Indians suffer from the stereotyping. Even fake Indians who claim no link to a U.S. tribe. I mean, look at Carlos Castaneda. He gives us the Indian as mystic shaman. This of course, was Mexican Indians. Doesn't have anything to do with us, but we still get typecast. The National Native American Bar Association, which I was a member of in one of their previous incarnations. Oh, there's an interesting story there. The very first incarnation, they were called the First American Bar Association. I really loved that. But the ABA asked them to change the name because they were worried about confusion. And my response was, why don't we ask the ABA to change their name? But we were getting money from the ABA, so we changed the name to Native American Bar Association, or NABA, And since I left, it got changed to National Native American Bar Association. But anyway, they say that between 1990 and 2000, ABA-accredited law schools claim to have graduated 2,306 new Indian lawyers. Wow, that's a bunch, because I remember back when I was on the board, we were talking about trying to get a section within the ABA. And somebody said, well, that takes 2,000 members. And Kirk Kickenberg was sitting there looking like somebody just whacked him upside the head. I said, what's the matter, Kirk? He says, that would mean we would have to find every Indian lawyer in the country and convince them to join the ABA. I don't even know how we would find them, let alone convince them to pay these dues that they don't have to pay. So that's a big deal. That's a lot of lawyers. But the U.S. Census reported during the same time only 371 new Indian lawyers. So you got 2,306 coming out of law schools and only 371 took the bar exam? Oh, come on, I don't believe that. Whether the purpose of affirmative action is to benefit the law school by enhancing diversity or to produce lawyers for an underserved population or whatever, I don't see that the box checkers advance the ball. The greatest harm caused by the professional bullshit artists, it seems to me, is the harm they do to themselves. They live with the constant possibility of being outed by genuine tribes or tribal citizens, and that possibility will even survive them. I ask you to notice Iron Eyes Cody. And when he died, everyone was saying, oh yeah, the fake Indian. What an epitaph. Here lies the fake Indian. And it's tragic for an individual of some talent, and Ward Churchill, for example, does have some talent, to suffer the credibility loss that happens when the fake identity comes out. Now, Andrea Smith's work on Native women and sexual assault is really important work, as is Churchill's parsing of the Genocide Convention in terms of Indian history. Smith apparently, maybe, hopefully, has abandoned her charade at a time when she can still stand as an authority on something, even if it's not being Indian. This is not true of Churchill. He has piled the bullshit higher and deeper and higher and deeper so that his work is now really difficult to cite. I mean, you just about have to go redo it. The bottom line remains that this isn't exactly an Indian issue. It's a tribal issue. Different tribes are going to have different ideas about whether anything should be done, let alone what. What we can do as individuals is just refrain from baffling with bullshit.